Hey there, lovely. If you're a driven and highly ambitious woman who has checked all the boxes, followed all the rules, only to realize you don't actually feel fulfilled or you don't feel like you're living your purpose, then you are absolutely in the right place. My name is Melissa Chavis. I'm an intuitive mindset coach, and I am absolutely obsessed with helping you discover your true purpose, that thing you were put here on this earth to do, so that you can live the most fulfilling and abundant life possible. Hey there. Welcome back to another episode of the Authentic Awakening podcast. So I've decided to actually start a little series here called Everything I've Learned About Human Design So Far. I do not know how many episodes this will be, but this is obviously episode 1. And there will definitely be probably at least 3 or so. Depends on how much I continue to learn about human design over the next few weeks. But today I am going to start just talking about everything I know about human design so far. So if you are not familiar with human design, it's essentially a tool that can help show you exactly who you were designed to be here on this earth. And I know that sounds a little woo-woo or magical, and it kind of is, but truly, I've never experienced any sort of classification tool that is so crazily accurate for people when they put in their information and it spits out their design for them. It's eerily accurate. And so as soon as I learned about it, I became completely obsessed and started learning as much as I possibly could. So I figured, I know there are a lot of people kind of coming into this space now and wanting to learn more about these things. So I can just share my knowledge so far with you. It's essentially a system that combines several ancient methodologies for classification with a modern twist to it. It specifically combines elements of astrology, the Ching, the Kabbalah, the chakra system, and quantum physics. One of my all-time favorite topics that still confuses me to no end, but I still love learning as much as I can about it. So essentially, the way it works is there are 5 main energy types, and then there are these additional classifications underneath each of them. But I'm going to start with this high-level overview of the 5 different energy types to kind of start building out this framework, essentially. The first is the generator. So the generators are the doers. You are energy generating beings. You are here to become the master of your craft or passion. You're meant to find what truly lights you up, master it step by step, and then spread the sparkly energy that comes from you doing and mastering what you love. You truly are here to just find what really, truly lights you up, learn all about it, master it, do all the things, and then that energy that you're giving off in the process is super magnetic and just will spread like wildfire to everyone around you and create energy in them. Okay, the second type is the manifesting generator. You are also an energy being, but you're meant to do things that light you up and spread that magnetic energy in a slightly different way. Because you're this combination between the generator and the manifestor, which is the next energy type that I'll talk about, but you're this combination type. So you're typically very multi-passionate. You are meant to find lots of things that light you up and then just go, 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 do, all of these different things. You're meant to have your hand in lots of different pots, essentially. And you've probably had a hard time just sticking with one thing and seeing it throughout your life because, generally that's kind of society's way of telling us to be is you need to find your thing and you need to stick with it and you need to see it through. And you've probably had a really hard time with that your whole life because you're truly just meant to jump from one thing to another, just contributing your energy and moving this thing forward in whatever way you can, but to be doing it in lots of different places all at the same time. And it's not even necessary for you to kind of master things in like a step-by-step way. It's just do all these different things and do them quickly and just add your energy to whatever project you're interested in. So these first two types that I went through, the generator and the manifesting generator, make up about 70% of the population. So the vast majority of humans fall into one of these two types, are energy generating beings, which means most of our like common wisdom that we hold as a human race is that people should have consistent energy and they should be able to kind of like keep going, keep working, get this thing done, and kind of constantly spinning. I mean, this is essentially where the traditional standard American 8-hour workday comes from, and, the 5-day work week, and, just kind of like doing all the time. And the hard work pays off, and all of those kinds of things that you can think about that are sort of this general knowledge, general wisdom that we have in our society is because 70% of the population is capable of moving through life in that way. However, there are still 3 more energy types who don't fall into the 2 energy generating types. The next one is the manifestor. The manifestor has inconsistent energy, meaning you are a non-energy generating being. You're not able to just go, do all the time. You'll kind of have these waves of energy that kind of come and go. You're able to, take in some of that energy from those generators or manifesting generators when you're in the right atmosphere with them. But you are not going to be constantly feeling like this motor running inside of you all the time. You're meant to be the idea generator and to kind of get the ball rolling, but not necessarily see it all the way through. So you're someone who comes up with really good ideas and can kind of like get things started and then have this team of people to kind of do all the steps along the way to fully see the project through to the end. But you're not necessarily that person who's going to come up with the idea, get it all together, do all the steps, and then have this finished product at the end of the day. Also, you are typically very determined in who you are. I've read a lot that the manifestors kind of come into this world just knowing who they are and being very determined in that. And having a really hard time kind of with authority at times because they're maybe being told to be a certain way or do things a certain way, and they just know that that's not right for them. And so they'll push back on it a lot of times. The other thing is that you probably like to make decisions without a whole lot of external input. Generally, you kind of know what you want to do, your mind's made up, and you just start taking action toward it and making it happen versus, asking around, getting input from, your friends or family members or team members. If you're at work, trying to figure out the best direction for you, it's generally like, well, this is the thing I want to do, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And a lot of times you won't even tell people that this is the direction you're going. And so sometimes people might say, but you didn't communicate that with me. You didn't tell me that's what you were doing. And the thing is, it just doesn't even occur to you to have the conversation beforehand to tell anyone about what direction you're going or what decision you've made. It's just your natural way of moving. So manifestors are pretty rare. They're only about 9% of the population. The next energy type is the projector. And projectors are another non-energy being with very inconsistent energy as well. The thing is, you are here to sort of see the world differently, to have this different perspective than most people are able to have on things. And then you're meant to share that perspective with the world in order to guide others and show them how things can be done differently in order to really make things better, to make things more efficient, or improve upon existing systems or methods of operation. You're truly meant to have this kind of, almost like a 30,000-foot view of the world and sort of see where things might be off or see where things could be improved. And then share that knowledge, share that information with others so that they can take it and actually make the changes and do the things. You yourself, though, are not here to actually implement all of the changes and do all of the steps. You're here to provide the input, provide the information, provide that perspective and point of view that only you are able to provide because other people just aren't going to be able to see it the way that you can. So projectors make up about 20% of the population. So also are more rare than the energy beings like the generators and manifesting generators. And then the final energy type within human design is the reflector. Reflectors are by far the rarest type, making up only about 1% of the population. And they are basically these completely non-energy beings. They have no sources of natural energy coming from any of their energy centers. And as we learn more about human design, you'll understand what that means. So they are very, very receptive to the energy of others in the world around them. And they are totally those people that will match your energy. They will match the energy of whatever is surrounding them. They just take it in and then they reflect it back out so easily. Like that is what they're here to do, truly, is to reflect back this energy of the world around them. And they're not meant to have this fixed and stable way of moving through life consistently. It's kind of just really reflecting back whatever environment they're in. And that is totally, totally natural for you and totally normal and the way that you're actually meant to be. I've even heard reflectors called like the ultimate chameleon, and they're able to basically, take on whatever is going on around them. But it is super important to understand that sometimes this can mean taking on a lot of negative energy or limiting energy, limiting beliefs that are all around you. It can be very, very easy as a reflector to take in all of that negative energy and then be kind of like putting that out, reflecting that out to the world around you. And so it's really, really important as a reflector to be discerning about the environment that you're in and who you're surrounding yourself with, because truly you will become whoever is around you or whatever is going on around you. You become that and then you reflect that out. And so it is super, super important to just have that level of discernment about who you're surrounding yourself with as a reflector. Okay, so those are the 5 energy types within human design. This is literally like the 30,000 foot overview of human design and barely scratching the surface. But if you are interested in learning about human design, this is a great place to start, is to find out your energy type and learn more about that. There are so many places on the internet. I'm not going to necessarily recommend any specific place to go and download your chart, but there are so many places where you can download your human design chart completely free. Just go online, Google human design chart or free human design chart, and you'll find so many places where you can download it. I highly recommend going and getting your chart. You'll need your birth date, your time of birth, and where you were born. I believe those are the three elements that you'll need to get your chart. I highly recommend it because I think that this can be so powerful in learning more about yourself, learning more about, who you were meant to be and who you just naturally are. I think it can be so affirming to just see your design and say, oh my goodness, that's why I am the way that I am. But there are so many different nuanced aspects to human design that, yes, everyone will fall within these 5 energy types, but with all of the different aspects that are included in your human design chart, there are over 2 million possible combinations. And so it is the most robust sort of classification system that I've ever heard of. It is so unique to you, and truly digging down deeper into your chart and getting into those different nuanced aspects of it will help uncover so many different things about yourself and essentially help you figure out what you're meant to be doing here, like what your purpose is on this earth, which is why I love using human design with my coaching clients, because it just truly helps them get this much clearer vision for what they want to be doing and what they're here to be contributing in this world. And it's so eye-opening and enlightening for so many people. But one thing that I have noticed is that it rings true so much more for those people who have already done some self-development and some of the thought work and some of that mindset work beforehand. I think when you don't really know yourself as well, it may not resonate with you as much. And so that's why actually with my coaching clients, we do go through some of the thought work and the mindset work in my program before we ever get to the human design stuff, because I want to make sure that we've sort of worked through some of those beliefs and habits and patterns and things like that that are not natural to them and aren't really truly who they are. They've just been picked up over their lifetime before we get to this human design piece, because I think if you can come at it from that perspective, then it's just that much more helpful for you in guiding you forward on your path. Another thing that I really love about human design is that it doesn't rely on like a questionnaire or you mentally trying to answer questions about who you are or how you behave in certain situations, because I think so many of us have been conditioned to behave different ways in different situations. And even if we wouldn't naturally behave a certain way in a situation, we know the right way. And so our brains are automatically going to sort of put this different lens on any responses in a survey like that. And so I feel like those surveys, while, yeah, they do help with sort of categorizing and helping you learn a little bit more about yourself in some ways, human design just like takes all of the mental piece out of it. It takes the mind out of it completely. It's truly just like when were you born? Where were you born? And here's who you were born to be, basically. And so I think that it doesn't have that, it's like human error, right? Human error goes into it because if we're answering it from our perspective, and I think you can kind of see that in that with some of those surveys, your results will change over time. I mean, I know I've done so many of them in my lifetime, and one time I'll get one result, and then, 5 years later, I'll get a different result because I've changed my perspective. I've changed how I see things. I've changed how I behave in different situations. And so I'm going to get a different result on it, which if they're truly telling you more about who you actually are, like your results aren't going to change. You will never have a different human design chart. Like this is your chart and this will always be your chart because it's not based on anything that you're having to contemplate or think about or any questions that you're having to answer, really. So I actually really love that about this type of classification system. Okay, so I think that's it for episode 1 of this series. I'm just calling it Everything I've Learned About Human Design so far, because there is so much information to learn about this. Like I could keep learning about it and probably will keep learning about it forever. But I hope that that's kind of helpful to sort of have that high level overview and maybe piqued your interest, intrigued you a little bit if this is something that is new for you. I highly recommend going and getting your chart somewhere. Like I said, lots of places you can get it for free. And even if you get it and it totally doesn't ring true for you, you're like, this is totally wrong. This doesn't sound like me at all. At least it's some information, some additional information for you to take in. But I would be willing to bet that you're probably going to resonate with a lot of what is in your chart if you go and get your chart. And of course, if you ever want to talk more about this or learn more about the different nuances in your individual chart, reach out. Let me know. I'm here. I'd love to talk about this. I will talk about it all day with you and help guide you as you kind of go through the different aspects of your chart. And hopefully this is something that can help you on your journey to becoming the most authentic version of yourself. I am so grateful for you joining me for this today, and I hope you'll continue to join me for however many episodes this turns into. I hope you have a great rest of your day with all my love. Until next time. That's it for another episode of the Authentic Awakening podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you found it helpful, I'd love to hear from you. You can do that by liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel or rating and reviewing the podcast wherever you're listening.